What's up, you guys? It's 410 Figs here with another YouTube video, finally starting a series that I've been thinking about doing for a very, very long time. I've loved comic books ever since I was a little kid. I think I picked up my first ever comic book at like 4 years old. So ever since then, I've loved movies and shows and video games, anything with those comic book characters in it, I've loved it. So if you're like me, you've probably finished a movie or a show and you've immediately thought, dude, I gotta get a figure from that character or from this movie or show. And with the insanity that 2026 is bringing, all across movies and shows and even video games, I figured what other project to start this series than the one that is receiving the most hype so far, and that is Avengers Doomsday. So there's still a lot of speculation going around with Avengers Doomsday as far as who's going to be in the movie, what the plot of the movie is going to be, but the one thing for certain that we know, besides what we got in those teasers, is that Doctor Doom is going to be the focal point of the film. Quick disclaimer before we get on with the rest of the video and start talking about all the cool different Doctor Doom action figures, I want to get this out there. This is not a history of Doctor Doom action figures, and if the series becomes an ongoing thing, it's not going to be a history of series. These are just my favorite figures, or the ones that I feel stick out or are the most well received that you may want to go hunt for and add to your collection. So, what do we know? We know that Doctor Doom has been around for a very, very long time. He first appeared in Fantastic Four issue number 5, all the way back in 1962. So the character has been around for quite some time. I think the first ever Doctor Doom action figure was a part of the Mattel Secret Wars line, and I think that came out in like 1984. Someone is going to correct me if I'm wrong, but that's just give or take around the time the first one ever came out. And as we all know, Robert Downey Jr. is playing Doctor Doom in Avengers Doomsday. We've only gotten 2 real looks at what Doom is going to look like in the film. That is concept art at a convention that Disney was at or hosting not too long ago, and obviously that post-credit scene from Fantastic Four First Steps. A majority of the figures we're going to talk about today are mainly depicting Doom from the comics. There are plenty of action figures based off of the Doom from the OG Fantastic Four movies. I do not believe there's any sort of like merchandise for the Fantastic Four 2015 movie, thankfully. But yeah, most of these figures are going to be from Doom in the comics. So let's start off with the modern throwbacks. First up, let's talk about the Toy Biz Marvel Legends. So these came out in Marvel Legends Series 2 by Toy Biz, and there's 2 different versions. One where it's a Victor Von Doom head, and the other where instead of the Victor head, it's a Doombot head. So I've never owned these figures, but like with all Toy Biz figures, I just appreciate the cool bases that they gave you, and the comics that they also included with every figure. Speaking of cool bases, we cannot forget about the Marvel Select Doctor Doom. This one by far has one of the coolest accessories of any 1/12 Doom figure, being that sick throne. So as with all things, these figures have aged, and I don't think they hold up, especially compared to the modern Dooms that we've gotten. However, if you're to get them and add them to your collection, I feel like aesthetically they would look cool, and the accessories make them stand out more than some of the more contemporary Dooms we've gotten by Hasbro. Moving right into those set Hasbro Dooms, we got, to my knowledge, the first ever Doom done by Hasbro in the Ronan the Accuser Build-A-Figure wave. What I can remember of this wave was that it was a Fantastic Four themed set. Besides the main 4, we got Doom and Namor and I believe Mole Man, and that's still the only Mole Man we've ever gotten by Hasbro. And this one, much like the Toy Biz version, there are 2 different variants. One where we see a regular Doom masked head, and another where it is a Victor Von Doom head with a removable Doom mask. I could be wrong, I've never owned this figure. That might just be a packaging variant, but at least that's what it appears to me from the pictures. So if you are a fan of Marvel Legends, or you've ever listened to anyone talk about the history of Marvel Legends, you would know that this was a weird point in time for the line. I will say, as someone who was very young when these figures were on shelves, I can remember getting them and keeping those strips of art that you see there to the right and using them as bookmarks. So when I see figures in this style of packaging, I do look at them a little more fondly than others. So continuing right along with some more Hasbro Dooms, and a lot of the figures we have coming up are a lot of Dooms by Hasbro. We have what a lot of people label as the return of the Marvel Legends era of the line, and what we see here is a standard and variant version of Doom. Really quick, I just wanted to swap out that variant Doom for this Ronin Build-A-Figure Doom, just to have them up side by side. I haven't owned either of these releases, even the variants, I just wanted to put these up next to each other and get your opinions on it too. If you've owned either of these figures and you can give me the answer in the comments, I would greatly appreciate it. But besides the differences in paint and the way that the hood might sit on the head, these seem like pretty identical figures. That all being said, they still seem like some good figures. If you are to get either of these two Dooms on screen or their variants, they still might be nice additions to your collection. That's just up to you and your personal preference. However, I can't recommend these, and I mean that positively, only because of the Dooms that we are about to get into, because they are some heavy hitters. So after those last two releases, there was quite a bit of time in between the next Doom release. The one you're seeing on screen was the Doom that followed, and that was the Doom that came in the Super Skrull Build-A-Figure wave, which was another Fantastic Four themed Marvel Legends set. When this figure came out, there was a lot of hype with it. It set the bar pretty high as far as Marvel Legends Dooms went, and to this day, it still gets a lot of reuse, but I feel like this figure still holds up. We got an interchangeable head and a couple of interchangeable hands along with Doom's gun. Not a lot in the accessories department, but enough to get you by. I like the way that this figure looks. I've owned it many times. I love the way that it poses. The only thing that would have elevated it was a cloth cape, but Hasbro did fix that a couple years down the line. So as I mentioned, that figure did see a lot of reuse, one example being the Fantastic Four retro card set. I like this release for a lot of different reasons, one being the accessories and the color choices. The green on this one really pops. Also, if you want a classic Doom to match your early era of the Fantastic Four, this is the one you want to get. And if you're a mint-on card collector and you want to keep your figures in the box, this Doom is perfect for you. All retro card figures have great art, but this one especially, with that header and the art you see by the name, I feel like this is just the best Doom to keep in the box of all the ones we've talked about so far. Up next is another personal favorite of mine. It is God Emperor Doom from the Supervillain set. Now I know this is another white Doom, much like the one we saw earlier in the video, but this one is so much more unique because it doesn't have that chest-like shirt piece with it. It's just a really fun figure. If you know the lore behind God Emperor Doom, I'm going to add a panel from the comics, arguably the most iconic God Emperor Doom panel from his meeting with Thanos. You'll know why he comes with that skull accessory. It's just super dope. Having this one on your shelf, holding that Thanos accessory, I would recommend this one. It's a lot of fun. God Emperor Doom does come from the modern comics written by Jonathan Hickman, which do lead into Secret Wars. But if you are more of a fan of the classic first Secret Wars event, there is a Marvel Legends Dr. Doom for you. That Doom does come in a 2-pack with Monica Rambeau or Photon. It was a part of this larger Avengers anniversary set, I believe, but this is the 2-pack that you would be getting your OG Secret Wars Doom from. Now this figure is pretty fun in hand, nothing spectacular with it. I think the appeal for it comes more in the accessories, being that this is the only Victor Von Doom head that we've gotten to my knowledge, and that mask accessory really makes it pop out, and being able to add these to your other existing Doom figures, it would just elevate them even more. I added that source material photo on the right just because I'd really want to see Hasbro tackle that one day. Whether it be a standalone release or they make it a part of the ongoing Secret Wars line, I'd really like to see that battle damaged look that we see right here. Now for this next figure, we technically are not going to be talking about Dr. Doom. We are actually going to be talking about Iron Man. Infamous Iron Man, to be exact. Now, if you've been following with any of the Doomsday hype, or if you are a reader of the comics, you would know that Infamous Iron Man is Victor Von Doom reimagined as Iron Man instead of Dr. Doom. Now, as Iron Man, he does try and be a hero, but with his own twisted, kind of evil ways. And Hasbro actually, a long time ago, made a figure depicting Infamous Iron Man. I feel like we're going to see a resurgence of this figure, whether it be Hasbro re-releasing it, or it's spiking in price, only because of the connections between Robert Downey Jr. obviously playing Iron Man and now playing Dr. Doom, and the possibility of this being the Doom that we see in the movie. Now that I'm putting the figure on screen, I am in real time correcting myself, because with the 2-pack Dr. Doom I talked about before this one, I said that was the only Victor Von Doom head we've gotten from Marvel Legends, but now I can see that I'm wrong. However, I do feel like the 2-pack Victor Von Doom head is far superior. This one is still an offering. In case you can't get the 2-pack, but you can get Infamous Iron Man, you still have a Victor Von Doom head in your collection. So aesthetically, I really like the way this figure looks. The effect pieces and the color choice they went with really pop. The pink is very unique. You get the cloak and you get the helmeted head, obviously, aside from the Victor Von Doom head. It is a reuse of an older Iron Man body. I want to say off the top of my head, they've reused this body 3 times, including this release. But I do really like that body for Iron Man. It really does fit a lot of the modern looks of the armor, or if not super recent, within the last decade of the way that he's been drawn in the comics. The only downside to this figure, I think, is that the cloak kind of just rests on top of the figure. It's not really attached to it. I feel like you'd have to get a custom cloak for this one, and then it would really take it to another level. But unlike the other ones, like I said, I feel like it just rests on it. I don't remember there being a port on the back of this figure where the cloak plugs in. Depending on how you see Infamous Iron Man, I kind of view him as his own character, aside from the traditional Iron Man and Dr. Dooms. So if you have a display in your collection with villains, or if you are a fan of either of those previous mentioned characters, I feel like this is a fun pickup and a nice addition to your collection. Continuing with the theme of modern depictions of Doom in the books, we have Emperor Doom from the One World Under Doom event that just happened, I want to say, within the last year in the modern Marvel continuity. This is the newest release of Doom in the Marvel Legends line. I got this figure not too long ago, and it's literally sitting here on my desk. It's fun, it's unique. I did not read any of the One World Under Doom events. I am reading the Aftermath. I believe it's leading into something called Armageddon. But that aside, I feel like this is still a fun, unique figure. I wouldn't recommend this as your one and only Doom of your collection, but if you are a fan of Doom like I am, it's a nice addition. That all being said, I love Dr. Doom as a character, and I love Marvel Legends, so I can appreciate every figure we've talked about so far. But if you strictly only collect Marvel Legends, there is one Doom that shines above the rest, and that is the one I'm going to talk about next. That is the Doom from the Cabal 3-pack. Now, to be super nerdy, this Doom, or this 3-pack as a whole actually, is based off of the Dark Reign or Dark Avengers period in the comics. I believe that all 3 figures in this set are the best versions of these characters in Marvel Legends form. Doom comes with a Doombot head and a cloth cape, and Hasbro literally never does cloth accessories. There was a small cloth accessory on the retro card Doom, that little chest piece right underneath his cloak, but besides that and this 3-pack, and maybe the Maximum Thor, but that literally just got announced and it's not even out yet, I cannot think of Hasbro doing any soft goods accessories whatsoever. So yeah, in my personal opinion, this is my favorite Marvel Legends Doom. If you were to ask me, of all the ones we've talked about in this video, which one would I absolutely recommend, I'd just follow up with one question, and that's whether or not you want a classic look in your collection or a more modern look. If you want that modern look, get this one from the Cabal 3-pack. If you want a more classic look, definitely get the retro card Doom. The only downside to the Cabal 3-pack is it is pretty expensive, because it is a very rare piece, at least in my experience of hunting. But it is still my personal favorite Marvel Legends Doom, and if you only collect Marvel Legends, that is the Doom that I would overall recommend. However, this video isn't limited to just Marvel Legends. There's still one more Doom I want to talk about, and it is my overall personal favorite, and actually one of my favorite figures that I currently and have ever owned. And that is none other than the Doom by Mezco Toys. I love Mezco and their 1/12 scale figures. I have a couple of them in my collection, and they are some of my favorites. But this Doom just takes things to another level, whether it be the amount of accessories it comes with, the way that it looks, the way that it feels in hand. This figure just has aura, bro. There's no other easier way to put it. This figure is just one of those that is a centerpiece in your collection. If you have the budget and you can grab this, I would highly recommend it. I think you would honestly be paying the same for this as you would the Cabal 3-pack. So between those two, if you strictly only collect Marvel Legends, then you should get the Cabal 3-pack. But if you collect all brands, dude, it's no question, get this Doom. For the longest time, this figure was pretty pricey, but Mezco just put it up for re-release, and I think it's on Big Bad Toy Store as we speak for around 180 bucks. So if you can manage it in your budget, there's no other Doom that I would recommend as highly as this one. If you only collect Marvel Legends, I'd say go with the Doom or the retro card, but if you collect all brands like I do, then Mezco Doom is the way to go. He's such an iconic villain, man. It's one of those things where you don't just want one Doom in your collection. At least I don't. I have a lot of the ones that I talked about in this video, especially the more recent ones by Hasbro. But this Mezco Doom is just, man, it makes me giddy every time I pick it up. It just gets me so hyped to pose around and play with and put into different poses on my shelf. Those were all the 6-inch scale or 1/12 scale Dooms that I would recommend. And now for fun, I'm going to add a couple of bonus Dooms if you collect other lines or other scales. First up, I want to shout out the Marvel Universe figures. If you collect 3-inch or 3 3/4 scale figures, here are some of the Doom options that we have. Starting with the left, you have the mainline release. In the middle, you have the 2-pack offering with Absorbing Man with a Secret Wars comic. And on the right, with that Infinity Gauntlet, we have the New York Comic Con exclusive Marvel Universe Doom. I couldn't make a video about Doctor Doom action figures without including the new Hot Toys Doctor Doom. I've seen plenty of videos and posts about this figure, people posing it and displaying it in different ways. It's impressive, much like any other Hot Toys figure. If it's in your budget, dude, I applaud you. I don't collect Hot Toys personally, but just seeing this figure, you can appreciate it for sure. Or if you collect the larger scale figures and you don't want to buy that Hot Toys Doom, this is another option. This is the old school 12-inch Marvel Legends Doom. Looks pretty cool. Again, I haven't owned this one, but if you want a more budget-friendly 1/6 scale Doctor Doom, this is probably the way to go. And then just for fun, if you collect the larger scale roleplay items, this is the Marvel Legends Roleplay Doctor Doom helmet. This is my missus wearing it after we had gotten it in the mail. It's a really fun piece. It comes with the hood. Aesthetically, it's really dope. So if you collect pieces like this, I would highly recommend this one too. Also, for what it is, I want to make note, very budget friendly. So yeah, if you made it to the end of the video, man, I really appreciate you for hanging out and talking about Doctor Doom action figures. I have no doubt in my mind that we're going to see a plethora of Doctor Doom merchandise coming out, probably starting in the summer or the early fall to get ready for the movie. Whether that be items for the kids or Marvel Legends, I have no doubt we're going to see a ton of it. Even after Doomsday comes out, going into Secret Wars, and after Secret Wars comes out, you know those import companies like to take their time to make figures, so I have no doubt we will have more than enough Doom figures to go around. Again, I probably missed a lot. This wasn't a history of Doom figures. These are just the ones that come to my mind when I think of the character. I probably missed a ton, maybe even like a superhero squad Doom somewhere in there. But these were just the ones I figured that people would want to talk about the most to add to their collection. So if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to let me know in the comments or in the likes. Tell me your favorite Doctor Doom action figure. Like I said at the beginning of this video, there's so much awesome stuff coming out. So much great content that we're going to get this year for comic books and comic book-like media. I would love to make a video about Supergirl or another follow-up video to Doomsday talking about the X-Men or Thor or Steve Rogers, any of the characters we might know is going to be in it. I have a soft spot for so many of the projects coming out this year, and I would love to get on here and just yap about all the different figures that we have based on those characters. So like I said, show some love in the comments and in the likes. And if you could, I would really appreciate it if you could follow me on Instagram and TikTok, where I am far more active on those two platforms. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at 410figs, just like the YouTube channel. Thank you for hanging out with me today and talking a little bit about action figures. Enjoy your figures, enjoy your friends, enjoy your family, and take care, you guys.